Have you ever had a situation where you've put a ton of spend on your credit cards, months and months, maybe over a year of putting all of your spend on a credit card, just so you can finally get the redemption you've always wanted? You're gonna fly business class to Tokyo, spend a few nights there, and then stay at the Park Hyatt Kyoto, one of the nicest hotels in the world that all of credit card YouTube talks about. You're ready, you finally got your 75,000 points to fly business class both ways, and then you see it actually costs 85,000 points. And your 70,000 Hyatt points that you thought were going to get you 2 nights at the Park Hyatt will not. Now it's actually going to cost you 80,000 points for 2 nights. And you don't have enough time to book and earn those points. That's what we call a devaluation. And unfortunately, devaluations can come when we least expect them. So that is why I'm starting to advocate for booking travel as far in advance as possible. I know certain people have certain situations in their life where they can't really plan that far out in advance. And I would say, do your best to book as far in advance as possible. Again, if you have kids, you kind of have a structure where you know, okay, they're going to have the summer free. I know when spring break is going to be, and you can build around that. But if you have a totally wide open playbook and you can be super flexible, it is okay to book things far out in advance and then realize a couple months later, oh, I can just cancel and book something else with no penalty, especially on points. That's a great deal. In a previous video, I talked about how I recently booked the Kimpton Shinjuku Tokyo. I spent 192,000 points for 4 nights at this hotel, giving me about a 0.84 cents per point value, which for IHG, pretty solid. Again, we're using that 4th night free benefit, platinum status. The rooms are really nice. It's a great area of Tokyo. Just some great highlights of the area, some good amenities, awesome recommendations here. There are some, again, evening social hours, different restaurants. It is pet friendly, so if I get a dog before then, I can definitely take that with me to Tokyo. I'm not sure about the airline's policy on that, but that is besides the point. You can bring your pets, super cool. Again, just some different options to eat and have a good time in the area. Shinjuku is also one of the places in Tokyo I most wanted to go to, so to have a nice centralized location in Shinjuku is super nice. I looked at a couple different areas of Tokyo, but this just seems to be where all the action is, and I'm excited to spend some time there. The reason also why I booked this hotel, even though my stay isn't until next July, I wanted to make sure that I could lock in a certain price points because I know the cost of these hotels will only ever go up. That's kind of how inflation works. And barring some type of special flash sales, summer deal type thing going on, I'm not going to get better than 4 nights for 192,000 points. I already know what days I'll be flying into Tokyo, and since that is my first spot, I am okay booking this hotel, even though I don't know how many nights I'm going to spend in other cities in Japan. I'm also thinking about starting to plan this trip backwards as well, as I know I'll have to fly home from Taiwan, so maybe I should book that hotel next. The second hotel that I've actually booked already for this trip to Japan is the Caption by Hyatt Namba Osaka. Again, a supposedly great area in Osaka. I've not done as much research about Osaka as I have Tokyo, but it does seem to be in a great location, and it's only costing me 6,500 points a night. Now, I'm not going to show the exact nights I booked here, but as you'll see here, it's anywhere between 6,500 and 8,000 points a night. I actually got some off-peak times because I think I booked like a 1 day through Wednesday or something like that. But making sure that I could lock in a certain cent per point value is something that I wanted to do now before Hyatt comes out with their new award charts, which they do once a year. I'm not sure exactly when they do that. I think it's like that February, March timeline, but I definitely knew they were going to do it before my trip to Japan. And in case the Hyatt Namba Osaka gets upgraded from category 2 to maybe a category 3 or 4, I want to make sure that this point value would stay the same. Now, the cost of this hotel, if you look online, you can find it super cheap for like 150 bucks a night, depending on the night, but there is some extra taxes and surcharges that aren't always included up front. So again, take this with a grain of salt, but I did the math here, calculating this yen to US dollars, and then 2 nights with all the taxes and fees that I would pay for a 1 queen bed city view. Let's take a look at what that cent per point turned out to be. So if you did not know already, to get a cent per point value, you just follow this formula right here. You take your cash value of redemption minus any taxes and fees paid, divide that by the points or miles redeemed, and any opportunity costs, and you multiply that by 100. Now, I don't normally include the opportunity cost because I wouldn't be booking this hotel if I wasn't booking it on points. And that's an argument for a different day, but let's just take a look here. I spent 13,000 points and miles, The total cash cost was $602. There was no taxes and fees that I had to pay with these points and miles. It's all included in that price. So what is that cent per point? Holy crap, 4.63. That is kind of crazy. And I do want to highlight that the way some of these hotels charge taxes and fees, some people might say, hey, I can find that for $150 a night. It's like, okay, well, what about the taxes and fees and any other extra fees they add on? This is fully encompassing, and I'm booking super far out in advance. So sometimes the cash price can be a little crazy. Some hotels you'll want to book, 3 months in advance, 4 months in advance. I'm booking this around 7 months in advance. So I'm sure you can cherry pick and find it a cheaper 2-night stay than $602, which is what I roughly would have paid if I paid in cash. But I think this is a great value proposition, and I'll be staying in a great area of Osaka. Another reason why I want to highlight booking things far in advance is that one of the hotels that I want to stay at in Kyoto is the Sawaka, an SLH property. Small luxury hotels are a great sweet spot in Hilton sometimes, and I kind of want to highlight here that a standard city view, $519, or if you want some of the better views or better rooms, $750 a night. But let's compare that to the points price. You'll see here that it is 150,000 points a night to book this property. Now, it does say for the first night here. I don't think the second night would be any more expensive, but I don't have enough points right now to book this. I was planning on getting those points in the near future, as you see here, 31,000 points. But this hotel actually used to be only 130,000 points a night, and just over a year ago, it was only 100,000 points a night, from what I remember. I do know that my good friend Anthony Venture booked this for 130,000 points a night, and I do believe earlier when we were talking about this hotel, it was only 100,000 points a night. Great opportunity for an FNC, but since I don't have one, man, that cent per point value calculation doesn't seem very good. Had I had the points and booked this far in advance when this was only 130,000 points, I would have gotten a ton more value than I would booking at 150,000 points. Now, I will point out that the Japanese yen is hurting quite a bit right now, so I do believe that conversion does make this price, pretty good, I think actually cash-wise, to just book this hotel in cash. But if the yen was where it used to be, I think the cent per point value would be higher. Now, I went through the process of putting this into a cent per point calculator. Again, 300,000 points for 2 nights. Let's see our total cash value for 2 nights after taxes and fees. That only gives us 0.38 cents per point. Not really a great redemption in my opinion. Even at the previous cost here, 260,000 points, again, it's only a 0.44 cent per point. So this hotel right now does not give a ton of great value for that cent per point value. Well, I really want to stay at this Sawaka. It just does not seem to be as good of a value points wise as it used to be, especially with Hilton Honors points being devalued over and over again. This is why I want to lock in value right now that I know I can get and make sure that it is still cancelable, which I think that is the most important thing. I can cancel both my Kimpton Shinjuku and my Hyatt caption stays right now. I get all my points back, no questions asked. If I decide I want to go to Kyoto first instead of Osaka, we can do that. I'm actually thinking that might be the case. I might move that caption stay to be my third hotel. I stay in Kyoto, then Osaka, and then fly to Taiwan. Again, I'm still thinking these things through, but we'll see how it all works out. If you have any good tips of a good Japan itinerary, please let me know. I do want to kind of fit in a day trip to Hiroshima somewhere in there. It kind of looks like I don't have enough time to kind of go down there, spend a full day there. I might spend one night there and then come back in the morning. I'm not too sure how that's all going to work out yet, as I'm kind of realizing that with the actual time it takes to fly places, I don't have as many nights as I thought I was going to, but we'll figure it out. I'm not too concerned. So what about you? How far out in advance do you try to book things? I definitely like to have my stuff booked and set in place as soon as possible. I'm about 6 to 7 months out from my trip to Japan, so I'm looking to book all of the hotels here in the next month or two, make sure that I get as great value as I can. I am planning on getting the Hilton business card here at the beginning of January, so I think that Kyoto stay might not get booked until I get those points, as I will have to get a welcome offer. I am doing a Hilton Grand Vacation offer in February as well. I do think I'll have my Taiwan hotel booked as well, and then just kind of figure out the middle of the trip as I go. But I also have trips to South Carolina already booked for the creator meetup in Charleston. I have my hotel booked. I do need my flight, but I do have to figure out how I'm going to get to Charleston because there's no direct flight from California, which kind of sucks. So we'll figure that one out as well. But if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hit 500 subscribers as soon as possible. I'd love to hear what trips you have coming up and what trips you currently already have booked. Just want to thank you again for watching and have a great rest of your day.